Good day, Mom and Sir. I am Lalaine Asrindaki, taking up Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Today, I will be debating about the chosen topic, which is the sex between unmarried adults is morally acceptable. I will be defending the two sides, which is affirmative side and opposition side. Affirmative. Premarital sex is sexual behavior engaged by persons who are never married. Biologically, it is not a problem for individuals who are sexually matured and become capable of reproduction. However, premarital sex has been morally unacceptable in almost every human society that regards marriage as the legitimate requirement for sexual behavior. This began to change from the last century started with a so-called sex liberation. In the Western world in 1960s and 1970s, it refers to increased acceptance of sexual behavior outside of traditional marriage relationship, including premarital sex among never married young adults. 20 years later, Reinfuss and Morgan suggest a quiet sexual revolution in Asia, which is commonly regarded as more conservative than the Western world. Although their findings emphasize on the increase of intercourse frequency in Asia, this revolution could also be seen in an increase in premarital sex. For a long time, students on premarital sex in China are very limited. Despite of limited data, researchers almost deliberately avoid talking about this issue. Due to pressure resulting from conservative culture and extremely rigid family moralities. From 1990s and more people began to pay attention to this issue. It was firstly caused by increasing number of reports on adverse effects of engaging in premarital sex, such as in code abortion and students among never married young adults. Researchers almost initiated into this topic by focusing on specific subgroups in China, such as never married college students and migrants, previous students, providing evidence and substantial changes in attitudes and sexual behavior among these people. Nevertheless, they were still reported as having poorer sexual knowledge, less open attitude, and more conservative sexual activity compared to young people in Western countries. Based on my research, this study primarily visible in contemporary of China. Their personal experience resembles other members in the same cohort to some extent. At first, they were shy, trying to talk about sex with friends. However strongly their parents held position against premarital sex, and how ashamed they were when they heard someone that were involved in premarital sex. However, as I was growing older, talking about premarital sex was becoming less prohibited or restricted. Friends, parents, and even mentors in school and college have expressed their attitude towards premarital sex and knowledge on contraceptive methods as sex education. It seems that premarital sex is more acceptable in young generations, but still, various attitude and behavior exists. In this study, I would like to examine premarital sex among never married young adults in contemporary China, utilizing data from China Health and Family Life Survey, which provide a nationally representative subsample of never married young adults aged 20 to 34, cross-tabulation, chi-square test, and logistic regression model are used to test the difference between males and females as well as effects of other influential factors on premarital sex from each gender group. Opposition. There is no predefined moral law. As far as we can tell, And if we have no reliable way of knowing what it is anyway. Some people, particularly religious people, claim to know, but it turns out all they do is decide what they want to be and then tell people that's the moral law. In the case of religious people, they often try and attribute their opinions to God. It goes like this: I'm a good person, they tell themselves, and I think, for example, God is good, so I can assume things the same as me. Therefore, I know God's mind. They pray their brazen about it and just decide which bits of their holy book they obeyed or how it's interpreted pretty much at will. If they don't like something, they just decide God did not really mean that, or his internal and engaging law no longer applies. It's mad, I know. Don't take it too seriously. Make up your own mind what's what everyone else is doing. Just for some of them pretend and even believe they're speaking for God, but giving they all then disagree with each other about what God says on the precise boundaries of their prejudices. We know that's just BS. I'd say no, having sex before marriage is a huge mistake. How do you know you're compatible? What if one of you is feeling dragged into marriage for sex? For practical reason, I strongly advise that if you're thinking of getting married, you should have an ongoing sexual relationship before you do. If you never have a sexual relationship before, give it at least 18 months before deciding if marriage is for you. So, anyone is free to make the choice of whether or not to have sex. And there is nothing wrong with making the choice to wait. If a bad idea, that's likely the cause problem, but people are free to make their own choices. Even if they are ill-advised, shaming other people for their choices, teaching and thoughts like that waiting is good, healthy, or valuable to young people and children, and holding up waiting as if it's valuable is wrong. Your body, your rules, but it does not make you special or better than anyone else. So what do you bring to marriage when two people have sex after they get married? If they have sex with many people before and even with each other, the value the sex will have when they have it for the first time after they get married is nothing compared to how valuable it be for two people who wait or their lives to find the right person to spend their lives with and wait until getting married.